I was 19 years old the night I watched a girl I knew, a girl who once wanted to be a nurse, get into a stranger's car because she didn't know how else to make rent. I didn't judge her. I understood exactly how she got there, because it almost happened to me too. This is the story the city never puts in its postcards. Stay until the end, because the way it ends is not the way you think. My name is Amara. This is the story of the year I almost lost myself in a city that promised me everything and asked for my dignity in return. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind of place where everyone knew your name, your family, and your report card. Life there was quiet, predictable, sometimes suffocating. So when I got accepted into a college in Los Angeles, I felt like I'd won a lottery ticket to a different life. The first week I couldn't stop staring. The skyline, the palm trees lit gold at sunset, girls my age walking into rooftop bars like they owned the city. Everyone on my Instagram feed back home commented the same thing: "You're living the dream." And for a while I believed it too. I made friends fast. That's the thing about a new city. Loneliness makes you trust people faster than you should. My roommate introduced me to her friend group, and within a month I had a whole new circle. Girls with perfect skin, borrowed designer bags, and a calendar full of parties I didn't know existed a month earlier. One of them, a girl named Jade, took me under her wing. She was magnetic, the kind of person who could walk into a room in a thrifted jacket and somehow make 3 girls in designer ask where she got it. She talked fast, in half sentences, always already moving on to the next thought before she'd finished the last one. The first night we hung out, she looked at my one good pair of jeans, laughed, not meanly, and said, "Okay, small town, out here nobody cares where you're from. They care about how you show up. Fix that face, we're going out." I didn't fully understand what she meant yet. I would. I remember the exact smell of her apartment. Vanilla candle wax over stale cigarette smoke. A closet door that never fully closed because of how many clothes were crammed behind it. Here's what nobody warns you about big cities. The loneliness doesn't disappear when you make friends. It just gets a better outfit. Jade's world ran on attention. Likes, comments, men buying tables at clubs, brands sending free things in exchange for a post. At first it looked like fun, freedom even. Nobody was forcing anyone to do anything. That was the whole point. It never looked like force. But slowly, I started noticing the pattern underneath the glamour. The men who gifted bags and dinners always expected something back. Sometimes just attention, sometimes more. The price climbing the more comfortable you got. The girls who said no too many times stopped getting invited. The ones who said yes got pulled in deeper, one small compromise at a time. Jade once told me, late at night after 3 glasses of wine, "You don't even notice you're trapped until you try to leave and realize you don't know who you are without all this." That sentence didn't leave me for weeks. The night everything shifted for me, Jade called me crying at 2 a.m., 11 missed calls before I even woke up. I ran the 4 blocks to her apartment in pajama pants and slides. Her mascara was down her face in 2 gray streaks, her phone screen spider-webbed from where she'd thrown it, and she was sitting on the floor of her closet, surrounded by clothes she used to love wearing, hugging her knees like she was trying to take up less space in the world. She wasn't fast-talking anymore. Her voice had gone flat, almost childlike. "He said he loved me," she whispered. 4 months, Amara. 4 months. Then last night he goes, "You were never my girlfriend, you knew that." Like I imagined it. I sat with her until sunrise. I asked her why she'd go back to people like that. She looked at me and said something that broke my heart. "Because after enough of this, you stop believing you deserve anything different." That's the real damage. Not the money, or the parties, or even the men individually. It's the slow erosion of a person's belief that they're worth real love, real respect, real safety. Once that belief cracks, predators know exactly how to widen it. I thought Jade's story was the worst of it. I was wrong. A freshman in my dorm, Priya, knocked on my door and didn't say a word, just stood there shaking, still in her pajamas at 3 p.m., holding her phone like it might bite her. Where Jade talked in a flood, Priya barely talked at all. It took 10 full minutes before she managed short, clipped sentences. "There's a guy," she said, "older. Met him through a cousin's friend. He paid for things. Never asked for anything. For months." A long pause, her eyes fixed on a spot on my carpet. "I sent him something. Once. In March." Another pause. "He has more saved than I remember sending." She turned her phone around just long enough for me to see the last message, then turned it back, like even showing me was dangerous. "He said if I stop talking to him, he'll send them. to my parents, my professors, everyone. This is not a story about bad judgment. It's a predator's calculated strategy, what experts call grooming. Build trust slowly, isolate the target, create dependency, then use that dependency as leverage. It works the same way in LA or London, at 19 or 45. The tactic is the constant. The victim's lifestyle is never the cause, just the detail predators exploit. I want to say this directly, because it matters more than anything else in this video. If this has happened to you, it is not your fault. Trusting someone, wanting to be loved, none of that makes you responsible for someone else's choice to threaten you. That responsibility belongs entirely to the person who made it. I called my aunt that night. She didn't gasp or panic. She just went quiet, then said, slow and even, like she'd said it before, "Baby, that man didn't fall for Priya. He studied her. You get her to the police tonight. Not tomorrow. Tonight." Then softer. "And tell her from me. The shame was never supposed to be hers to carry. She's just the one who got handed it." If you or someone you know is dealing with a threat like this, organizations like the Cyber Civil Rights Initiative and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, for minors, have free, confidential resources, linked in the description. I got messages too. Men twice my age telling me I was wasting my potential. A professor who invited me to his office late one evening with a tone that made my skin crawl. I said no, not because I was braver than Jade or Priya, but because I happened to have people who'd warned me what to watch for. Luck and information. Not virtue. One Tuesday stuck with me longest. Walking back from night class, headphones in, a man in a parked SUV rolled down his window and said my roommate's name, a name I'd never told him. He smiled like this was charming. "You looked lonely," he said. "I noticed you around campus." I didn't answer. I cut through a gas station lot with cameras and people, called my roommate shaking. What stayed with me wasn't that a stranger approached me. It was how much of my life he already knew before he said a word. That's not charm, that's reconnaissance. Priya's story is the reason I started speaking publicly. I posted honestly, no highlight reel, just the truth about what I was seeing. My inbox filled with messages from other women. I thought I was the only one this happened to. I finally showed my sister these red flags before it was too late for her. Silence is exactly what predators depend on. The moment women started comparing notes out loud, the pattern became impossible to hide. Jade saw one of my posts 3 weeks later. She texted one line, "I forgot what it felt like when someone believed I was more than what happened to me." We talked for 2 hours that night. She's back in community college now, studying graphic design. Some days are good, some aren't. That's the honest ending. Recovery isn't a straight line. It's a slow return to yourself, one ordinary Tuesday at a time. Priya's case is still open with local police. Her family knows now. She says the fear of the secret was worse than the fear of the truth ever was. If you're new to a city, new to independence, new to being on your own, you are not naive for trusting people. You are human. Watch for the pattern, not the packaging. Someone who moves fast, isolates you from people who love you, makes you feel indebted, and gets angry the moment you set a boundary. That pattern is the red flag, not your clothes, not your choice to go out and live your life. If you're watching this and you're in something that feels like what I just described, you are not alone, it is not too late, and there are people ready to help you get out safely. I've put a list in the description below. I lived through watching this happen to people I loved. I'm telling this story so the next girl who moves to a city full of promise gets to keep her dream intact, and her dignity. Thank you for watching. If this story meant something to you, subscribe. There's more of this series coming.